It is the Dragons versus the Roosters. It's a tough ask for a Dragons side who are desperately still in search of a finals berth ahead of the end of the 2020 season. They've come into a little bit of form. They've not been looking too bad of late. A bit of a disappointing loss last week. But they come up against a Roosters side who were run close last week and still missing a few key players as well. I mean, the Dragons have had to have a little bit of a change up. Clune back in. Hunt goes into 6. Norman is the player dropped out of the squad as McInnes goes to his preferred position of 9.
Yeah, a bit of an interesting one. It's not the most ideal scenario, I think, having whatever Norman's on, something like 800,000, not even in the 17. But yeah, Clune has looked a lot better playing half than that of Hunt or Norman. So it makes sense for him to come back in. Jackson Ford, I think, has a judiciary trip or needs a fitness test. I'm not 100% sure to confirm his spot this weekend. But look, in all honesty, the Dragons didn't look dreadful last weekend. Of course, another spine change, but yeah, they've looked relatively good, even with results not going their way. That being said, the Roosters are playing like absolute dog crap and are still eking out wins. So, granted, it was the Warriors 2 weeks ago and the Titans last week, and a much improved Titans outfit at that. But you'd have to think, surely, Matthew, surely the Roosters play a little bit better, considering they're up against opposition that kind of still maybe have a chance for a final berth.
Yeah, I mean, so you go over some of the history. The Roosters have won 4 out of the last 5 coming up against the Dragons. There's been a few close ones in there. I mean, a few low-scoring ones as well. But the Roosters, you'd think realistically, even when they are a little off the boil, and much like the Dragons, gone through a bit of a spinal change, that they'd still be up there and still realistically in with a hope of beating the Dragons. Because, I mean, you look to the Dragons bench, Sailor, Kerr, Merrin, Fuimaono, you've got a lot of size in there. Sailor is a questionable one for me because if the Dragons do end up running this one close, then when do you implement Tristan Sailor? When is the point where you go to your bench and you think now's a good time to bring him on because it's not going to realistically affect the flow of the game? I mean, it's a tough one for me. I mean, you look to the Roosters, Lamb into the 7, no Flanagan this week. Hutchison comes to the bench as well as a little bit of a backup for Jake Friend because he has in previous weeks pulled up lame on a couple of occasions, but I'd still see this one going the way of the Roosters, but I think it's going to be closer than people expect. I think a lot of people are expecting after 2 disappointing weeks that the Roosters come out firing and put a good amount of points on, but I see this one going Roosters 1-12.
Yeah, you've kind of stolen my thunder there because I've gone Roosters 1-12 as well. The weakness that we saw last week was the side of Ryan Hall, which is the left side of the Roosters' defence. Now, granted, he did have Tupanua playing in the centres instead of Josh Morris, I think it is on that side. For those who are wondering, apparently I can't tell left defence from right defence because whenever I put my tips on, I get it wrong. But I know that Zach Lomax plays right side for the Dragons. I know Ryan Hall plays left side, and that was their one defensive weakness. So in terms of tips, I have gone Roosters 1-12. If they show up lame again this week, realistically, the Dragons could pull off an upset. Do I think it'll happen? Probably not. But the Dragons very well could pull off an upset. The line currently is 11.5. If you're brave and want to take the line at $1.90 for the Dragons, you can. I'm going Roosters 1-12, but knowing that Lomax comes up against the potential of Hall, Morris, and if Morris doesn't play Tupanua, I'm going to say Zach Lomax anytime try scorer as well.
It's not a bad shout. So I lean towards Tedesco anytime. He's been kept quiet for a little while, and I'd expect that the Dragons, they've got a few missed tackles in them. Their forwards tend to tire around the middle a little bit, and that's really where Tedesco comes into his own, especially in sort of the last 20, 25 minutes of a game. So I'm going to go to Tedesco anytime with the Roosters 1-12 for my tip on that one.
If anyone is brave enough to take Lomax with Roosters 1-12, that pays $8.75 as of 5 p.m. on Tuesday afternoon. Going Tedesco, Roosters 1-12, that pays $6.25. So some cheeky value in there already, and it's only game one.
Okay, then. And with that, we will move on to the next one.